Everyone, today is Thursday, May 7th. We're going to continue our learning on customary measurement. Today we're going to be dealing with time, and as you can see on our anchor chart or on my whiteboard, we know that 1 minute is 60 seconds, 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes, 1 day is equivalent to 24 hours, and 1 week is equivalent to 7 days. So again, we're just going to use our conversions to go from days to minutes, maybe days to hours, maybe hours to minutes, or even hours to seconds. So there's lots of different conversions that we can do. For today's lesson, you're going to have the tables to fill out again to go, in this case, from hours to minutes or from days to hours. Yours may look a little bit different, but they're all very, very similar. You're going to have some problems down here where you have to go from hours and minutes to a total amount of minutes, maybe from days and hours to a total amount of hours, or you might have to go from hours and minutes to seconds to figure those out. But we'll kind of talk about them as we go. So if you can think about our lessons over the last few days, this brings and ties in all of our algebra that we learned kind of in the fall and the winter. If you're going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you're going to be multiplying. And if you're going from the smaller unit to the bigger unit, you're going to use the opposite related fact or division. So in this case, in our first problem today, I know that I'm given 1 hour. And since I'm going from the bigger unit to the smaller unit, I have to use multiplication. I can use my sheet over here, my anchor chart, to help me figure out that 1 hour is 60 minutes. So obviously now that's just going to be times 60. And 1 times 60 is 60. In this case, now I'm given 3 hours, and again, I know that 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes, so I would just multiply by 60. And remember your rule of zeros, so I know 3 times 6 is 18, and then I can count my zeros. There is 1, so I know that in 3 hours there are 180 minutes. For the last problem, we're actually given the minutes. So because we're given the minutes, we're going from the smaller unit to the larger unit. So I'm going to have to go the opposite way, which means I'm going to use a related fact, and I'm actually going to use division. And because I know there's 1 hour is 60 minutes, I know that I'm going to have to divide by 60 to figure this out. So you can set this up as a division problem. So I'm going to do 360, and I could put it inside my box, and I could divide by 60. But there is an easier way to do it. If you ignore the 0 and pretend the 0 is not there, just think about 6 times what will get me to 36. And I know 6 times 6 is 36. So what this means is 6 times 60 obviously then would be 360. And when I subtract, I'd be left with nothing. So if you have 360 minutes, that means you would actually have 6 hours. So again, when you're going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you're going to use multiplication. When you're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you're going the opposite way. You're going to use a related fact and do division. Our other example today, we're going to go from days to hours. So if I use my anchor chart, my conversion chart, I know that in 1 day there are 24 hours. So again, the first one, because I'm going from the bigger unit to the smaller, is going to be multiplication. So times 24. I know 1 times 24 is 24. On my next problem, again, they give me the bigger unit days. So I'm going to multiply by 24. So I can show my work right here. I'm going to break 24 up. Actually, I'll do partial products this time just to change it up. I know some of you guys like that. So 5 times 4 I know is 20. And then it's going to be 5, not times 2 though, because it's in the tens place. So this 2 is really worth 20. I know 5 times 20 is 100. So when I add those together, my answer would become 120. So 5 days is really equivalent to 120 hours. For the last problem, they gave us the hours. So because they gave us the smaller unit, because we're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, we have to do the opposite or divide. So I'm going to be dividing by 24. So I'll set this up over here on the side. So 216 goes inside my area model. 24 is my divisor outside. And you're going to have to use some math here to figure this out. You can use a calculator if you have it. I'm going to start with my tens, and I know that 24 times 10 is 240. So I know I went over it by a little bit. So I'm going to try to go down by 1 and do 24 times 9, and we'll see what that equals. So I'll set that up over here. 24 times 9. I'm going to use the standard algorithm this time. 9 times 4 is 36, so I'll carry my 3. 9 times 2 is 18, and 3 more is 21. Works perfect. So I'll put a 9 on top, 216, and now I'll subtract, and I'm left with 0. So if I have 216 hours, that would actually be equivalent to 9 days. For our last two problems down here at the bottom today, again, I have some hours and I have some minutes, and I want to figure out the total number of minutes. So I look at my conversion chart. I know that 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. So I'm going to take 5 hours, and I'm going to multiply it by 60. Because it has a 0, I can just do 5 times 6, which is 30, and add a 0, so I know it's 300. We're going to add the 25 minutes that were already there, and that will be a total of 325 minutes. For the last problem today, I'm going to go from days and hours to a total amount of hours. So I know I'm going to have to convert these days. So I look at my chart. I know 1 day is equal to 24 hours. So I'm going to have to do 19 days times 24 hours. So let me find a workspace here real quick. So we'll use the area model here. Probably the easiest way to do this one. I'll break my 19 into 10 plus 9. I'll break my 24 into 20 plus 4. Draw my boxes. There's my addition sign, so I cut it. And my multiplication sign. And I know that 20 times 10 is 200. I know that because there's a 0, 2 times 9 is 18. And I can add a 0, so 180. Down here at the bottom, 4 times 10 is 40. And last 4 times 9 is 36. So I'll probably stack these on top. 200, 180, and I can add those in my head. That's 76. And I'll add those all together. And I will get 15, carry my 1, 456. So I know 19 days is really equivalent to 456 hours. And I'm going to add my other 16 hours that were already there. And when I add them, I get 6 and 6 is 12. Carry my 1, 5, 6, 7, and 4. So 19 days and 16 hours is really equivalent to 472 hours. I can use my calculator just to double check because that was larger math. I know 19 times 24 equals 456. I'm going to add my 16, and my answer matches 472. All right, guys, so I'm going to turn you guys loose to do your problems for today. If you guys have any questions, you can send me a private comment like usual. You guys can email me or give me a call, and I can talk you through. All right, guys, good luck.